Welcome to Live, Uncut, Raw, Unfiltered, Ask the $50 Billion Man. Call 1-866-307-4320 for U.S. callers and 44080-0404-8387 for UK callers to get no-holds-barred answers to your questions. And now, your host, Dan Pena.
Welcome to Ask the $50 Billion Man, Uncut, Unfiltered, Live, and Raw. This is our third in the series of, I'm not sure how many, of these radio shows. Some general information. Just as an aside, today would have been my dad's 98th birthday if he had lived. He lived till his early 90s, but today's his birthday, so it's a special day. And I'm sure that he lived long enough to see my success, but I'm sure that he's watching down over me. Yes, and the rumors are correct. I did a week ago yesterday undergo a total knee transplant down in southern England. So I was up off my sticks before the week was up. But I must admit it was significantly greater total damage on my body than I had anticipated. But I underestimated, man plans, God laughs, how big an operation total knee transplant is, where they lay your knee open like a Sunday turkey as opposed to the orthoscopic stuff. But that being said, I'm here for my third program. Another announcement is that I'm not sure I made it clear last time that the chat room that is available that goes in conjunction with this radio program is a chat room that is open 24/7, 365, not just during the program. So you could have, and some people did, avail themselves of the opportunity to talk to one another. As I said, it's unmonitored. The chat room, it's unfiltered. It's not looked at by any of my staff or myself, and it's for you to talk to one another. And it will be open after this radio program. And it'll stay open as long as we see that there's no real abuse. And I hope that you utilize it. Again, I will not take calls from the chat room, but it's for you to talk to one another. And the lines are open. So let's get started with our first call. Hi, this is Dan Pena. How can I help you?
Hi, Dan Pena. My name is Michael Chittill. I'm from Birmingham, which is in the UK. And I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'm actually in my final year of university. Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, I'm actually in my final year of university, and I'm studying biomedical science. However, I realize that it's not what I actually want to do. However, I do know what I want to do. I want to start a fitness and nutrition consultant business online. And my question to you is, do you think that's a good business to start with? As soon as I graduate?
Well, the challenge with, and turn your volume down a little, please. But the challenge with that industry is there's no barrier to entry. In other words, anybody, not anybody, but many people can get into the industry, whether they have qualifications or they don't have qualifications. Obviously, the more qualifications you have, the better off you are. But I mean, if you don't know what you want to do or what you want to be, that's fine to start. But as I would tell everybody, I mean, you've got to have passion, because even if it's an interim job for you, or an interim task, or an interim position, you need to have focus. And the easier to stay focused is if you have passion. So that's a long answer to say yes. I hope I answered your question.
Okay. Sorry. So what would you recommend a person like myself to do if that's not a good industry?
No, I'm not saying it's not a good industry. You know, you have to find something that you're passionate about. And if you're not passionate about that, then you find something that's your passion. I've been telling people for 35 years, healthcare and telecommunications, which is the internet, and I've still been proven right. Healthcare, guys my age don't want to die, and telco, stroke the internet, continues to get bigger and bigger every day. So find your passion. Thank you for calling. Next call.
Thank you.
Dan Pena, how can I help?
Dan, this is Dalton McDonald from Berlin, Germany. My question is, will you be giving capsule seminars in 2017 or 2018?
I have no idea if I'll be giving them in 2018, but I suspect my health holding out, which it has. Although I have no plans for 2017. The next seminar I have, I'm like a big bull on the hill looking down at a field of cows. I go down and take them one at a time. So all I know is my next seminar is in October, which is in about 2.5 weeks. And I have not even another planned for 2016, although I might have one, but there's no guarantees. But look at my schedule. And but remember, all the stuff I give is free on my website. 99.9% of everybody that has ever used QLA, I've never met. And a number of the high performance people that are on the wall of fame I've never met. But good luck to you. Okay, next call.
Thank you.
Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Hi, Dan. This is Adam from the United States, and I will be attending the October 2016 regular seminar.
Okay.
Okay, my question...
I look forward to meeting you.
Thank you. I look forward to having you beat the shit out of me.
Okay, well, I won't let you down. I assure you that. Go ahead.
I believe you. Okay.
By the way, excuse me for interrupting. I got an email that from one of you guys, not you, that wanted to know why more people didn't cry during the YouTube versions of the seminar. And I said I'd answer on this radio show. Okay, there's two reasons. Number one, it's not our job to humiliate or make the kids feel poorly in front of YouTube, because YouTube is forever. Number two, and more specifically, the crying and the shedding of tears is normally in our private time, when you get in here privately with the doors closed, and me whipping you like rented mules. But we do have tears. We haven't had anybody pass out in a couple seminars. Okay, getting back to your question, go ahead.
Okay, the context for my question is I have not yet built significant net worth, and I will be doing QLA from scratch. Okay, I've read much of your material. My question is, okay, I get my board, I get the dream team, we form a holding company, we do our first acquisition. The question is, what kind of liquidity is there for the shares that I acquire in this company on the private market? Now, I'm not talking about the exit strategy for the company, but just after my first deal.
No, there's virtually no liquidity. The only possible liquidity is if you can hypothecate your shares, meaning if you can borrow against them. If it's a good, strong cash flow company, you may be able to take your X percentage and go to a bank, a financial institution, and say, I'd like to borrow X tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But per se, there is no liquidity.
Okay, so the way that I'm going to put a little money in my pocket the fastest is by overfinancing the deal. Is that correct?
Well, overfinancing, and each deal, each transaction, you overfinance, and not in an illegal or immoral way. You overfinance,
right.
and you take money out, and not just you, but all the board takes extra money out, right, or takes more money out. Let's say if you buy it for $1 million, you finance it for $1,150,000, and you take $100,000 and you divide it amongst the board members.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you.
Okay. Very good. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Next call. Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Yes, Mr. Pena?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Pena, this is Josh from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for all your assistance and all the material offer. My question for you is on Regulation A. I'm structuring a S Corp offering under Regulation A, and I'm curious as to your opinion as Regulation A and some of the new SEC type of structures that are available today.
Well, first of all, and I should have said this at the beginning. Any advice that I gave or any comments I gave are one man's opinion. They have nothing to do with any GAAP, general accepted accounting procedures, or legal advice in any way, or tax advice. I would ask your lawyers and your accountants, but some industries have different readings of the regulations. So if you're gonna if you plan on going public, I would go public with the entity, and quite often it's an LLC that gives you the most latitude. Now, interestingly enough, the reversion area treatment that was once given by Ireland to entities in the United States, which may go out the window now vis-a-vis the EU recent ruling against Apple for 13 billion euros, may change all that. But right now, for example, pharmaceutical companies quite often go and establish their companies in Ireland for that very favorable tax treatment. But I would ask your tax attorney and or your accounting firm for the best suited for yourself. But I won't say be careful, and this is why I tell kids not to set up an organization or an entity beforehand. Wait until you find your acquisition. Wait until you find your advisors to give you the insight. It's not a big deal to close something down that costs you $1,000 or 1,000 euros or 1,000 pounds to set up. It's not a big deal, but it's a pain in the ass. And so why go through that when you can just as well set it up and issue the shares if you're following the QLA methodology to a T, and you're giving shares both to yourselves, not just yourself, but also your board of directors. I hope I answered your question. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
Next call. Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Hi, Dan. My name is Chris Amanero from Chicago. Love your show.
Thank you.
I'm calling to ask, what will it take for me to get a full ride trip to your next seminar? I will do whatever it takes, man.
You mean full ride, like for free?
I want you to send me out there. I will do whatever it takes. I will promote you. I will give my all.
I thank you for the offer, but if I had $1 for every person that has asked me that question, I'd have an extra $100 million myself. No, that's not
Absolutely.
what I do. You have to pay. You have to have skin in the game. You have to suffer. You have to pay price of action to be here. Some people borrow money. Some people, I'm not telling you to sell your children or leave your wife or things like that. But I am telling you that the only special dispensation I give are to active duty military. Active duty. I'm going to say that again. And being in the reserves and going to a meeting once a month is not active duty. I mean, if you're in a uniform 365, 24/7, you have a special price, and if you're a student, you have a special price. Other than that, everybody pays the same amount. But everything on my website is absolutely free. There's no reason other than personal interfacing with me for you to come here. I would be disingenuous if I didn't tell you that 75% of the people on the Hall of Fame are all people that I personally met. But 25% of them, I haven't trained, I haven't coached. And another thing I want to make a comment on: I do not do deals, I do not do transactions, I do not advise, I do not consult with anyone that I haven't trained personally at this seminar. I'm going to say it again: I make no exceptions. I make zero exceptions. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
Now, kids, I want to spend a couple more minutes on that. I can't begin to tell you, and for those of you that try to interface with me on on LinkedIn and Twitter. I just don't do that, and there's a very good reason I don't do it. I don't do it because without the foundation being put down by me training you, without you putting down the foundation by taking the time to come here, me to try to do something with you, I won't say it's fruitless, but it's time consuming. It's laborious. It's hard enough to make QLA work. And that's why I just don't do deals with the kids unless I've trained them personally. Once you've gone through the week-long, or actually it's 8-day long seminar, then you have me for a year. And there's I mentor you whether I'm in business with you or I'm not. And almost all the kids that come to the seminar, I'm not in business with. But I continue to mentor you. You continue to give me the weekly reports. I answer the weekly reports. I continue to rate you. I continue to gauge how you're doing. And I continue to have the monthly calls. Zoom. Right now we're using the Zoom system. Zoom calls whereby you as a group get on the screen and we go, no matter how long it takes. Recent Zoom calls are lasting between 3 and 4 hours. So everybody gets a chance to tell what they've done right, what they've done wrong, to ask any questions that I may not have answered during the weekly report. And we continue to move forward. Now, everybody doesn't make it till the end of the year. And that's just like life, a man plans, God laughs. It's like the surgery I had a week ago. It was supposed to be an easy, deasy, slam, bam, thank you, ma'am, and it didn't turn out that way. But the 99.999% of all the kids that are on that have utilized QLA are, I've never met, and I wouldn't know if they walked in the office. Now, I'm getting ready to announce in the next few weeks an addition to the Hall of Fame. We're verifying some numbers right now just to make sure, and I do verify the numbers. I don't just, out of the blue, somebody call me and say, yeah, I created so many billions and we put you up. Over my birthday about a month ago, I announced that we had some phone calls right around my birthday. And it was a total of over $3 billion in value that was added in equity and value by mentees. And it was I don't know, I'm pretty sure they did it as a surprise for my birthday. It's not coincidental that it happened on my birthday. But we asked for verification and we got the verification. And recently I started putting forth success stories. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, of kids that have gone out and gathered finance, of kids that have gone out and done deals, of kids that have done reasonably large transactions. The most recent one a few days ago was a kid that had never done any company that he had ever owned or started, had never done more than $2 million in revenue, if my memory serves me correctly. And yet he had put together $109 million in financing as a cursor or a first step to a $500 million financing down the road. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, manner, or form that everybody does that. I'm not. Normally, somebody that did $2 million in revenue for 5 or 10 years would go to $10 or $20 million. This was an exceptional guy, and he worked very hard. It also took him 18 months longer than he thought it was going to be, or I should say, he thought it was going to take him. And again, my rule of thumb is it normally takes you 3 to 5 times longer to do these things, these deals. And it costs you 3 times longer or 3 times more. And by costing you, I don't just mean in financial bank account, I mean in emotional bank account. And what you kids mostly run out of is not finance, because that's the thing you're most worried about. You think you've got so much money set aside to live on. You've got your monthly expenses, you've got this, you've got that. So I should be able to last 18 to 24 months. But you discount or don't take into account your emotional bank account. Okay, I'm taking calls. Let's take a call now. Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Hi, Dan. This is Matt from Illinois.
Okay, Matt
just
from
starting
Illinois.
out in my, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just starting out. I'm just starting out in my career, and I'm really trying to build a life for my family. And I have a gentleman that asked me to come to his office and meet with him. I know him from a prior job. He's a very rich man, and I kind of don't know how to go about setting out and getting in front of him, telling him not to give him the value of my skill set. What would you recommend?
Well, we have a couple, at least one. We have at least two podcasts that cover that. One, don't exaggerate your skill sets because the truth comes out fast enough. Two, you don't want to waste this guy's time. And although all these meetings are good practice for you kids, but I mean, most of these guys don't need more practice. So you need to have an agenda. What are you going to talk about? If you have specific needs, then he should know those needs. Now, if it's just a general meeting that you're going to talk to get acquainted, that's great, and have a cup of coffee. But you don't need practice on how to get take a cup of coffee with some guy. What you need is practice on how you interview. And we do have podcasts on that. So take a look at my website, look up the podcasts. I also have a couple of newsletters. I have 105 newsletters, and it's covered in there. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you for calling. Next. Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Hi, Dan. My name is Braylon. I'm from Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
I have 3 questions.
Sure.
My first question is that in the past, you mentioned that it's better to have A's than to be a minority shareholder in a private company. Did you get that by a common share or preferred share?
Well, I don't even talk about preferred share. Don't confuse yourself. The minority shareholders of companies are like kissing your sister. It means little. And if you take a minority share, unless you get liquid by going public or unless you get liquid by selling to somebody, being a minority shareholder doesn't mean much. But if you follow the QLA structure, you'll be either a majority shareholder or you'll be the largest minority shareholder, depending on how you're diluted any equity provider. I don't factor in preferred shares. You're just making it more confusing. What's your second question?
The second question is that for executing the things that you preach to your mentees, does it make economic sense to register a company under U.S. Seattle, Washington jurisdiction, or is it should I register the company based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada?
Not knowing what you're going to do, and not knowing your tax structure, not knowing your industry, there's no reason why not to register the company from where you live and where you're going to be domiciled. If you're in Canada and you register it in the United States, you're going to make it more difficult than it needs to be. You're going to have to
make acquisitions.
Well, no, you're going to be making it more difficult vis-a-vis taxes. I mean, if you're a Canadian citizen and you're doing deals in Canada, you're going to pay Canadian taxes. If you're a Canadian citizen with a Canadian company and you're doing business in the United States, you're going to pay United States tax, and you're probably also going to wind up paying tax in Canada. So it's not as simple a question as you think it is. You need to know
a little bit. Complex.
You need to know a little bit more about where you're going. What's your third question?
My third question is, practical steps of getting a more scripts and questions for screening lawyers and accountants, and we're gonna for people going to the capital seminar, you're gonna definitely cover those aspects.
Well, I mean, all those all the scripts are either on podcasts, newsletters, or in other material that I've published over the years. And people ask me, why haven't I changed the scripts in all these years? Because nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed in the interviewing process is crowdfunding. And I've never done a crowdfunding deal, although I'm anticipating that I may do one early next year, because I've always been able to fund my transactions without doing crowdfunding. And so I've never used crowdfunding.
I remember you mentioned that it was like crowdfunding is the last thing that you would probably consider.
It's the financial resource of last resort. But I mean, I know a lot of people that use it. I mean, I read about movie stars that use it to fund movies. Now, I think I heard somebody tell me that Tom Cruise even used crowdfunding. So, and if Tom Cruise has to use crowdfunding, okay. I hope I answered your questions. Thank you for calling. Next call. Dan Pena, how can I help you?
Oh, hi, Mr. Pena. This is Jordy Christensen from Victoria, Canada.
Another Canadian. How can I help you?
I'm a commodities trader,
okay.
And I was wondering, I use the commodities markets, and I was wondering if you know of anybody who's had great success using them, or do more people have more success actually getting in and actually starting companies, commodities companies, and getting rich that way, actually physically trading the commodities themselves?
Well, the challenge is, and of course there are people that have made a lot of money trading commodities, okay? But what we're teaching at QLA is you're building up assets so you can sell to somebody. It's extremely it's extremely difficult to sell not impossible, because nothing's impossible, but extremely difficult to sell a commodity trading business for a number of reasons. Number one, who's responsible for the profit of the commodity trades? Okay, if it's one guy and you're trying to sell it, you're going to have little or no chance of selling it for any money. If it's a team of, let's say, 25 or 50 commodity traders, that's one thing. But most commodity traders are individuals that are trading for themselves or their family, etc. So, I mean, if you're one guy, I would say that probably the best way to build assets is to buy the actual units that produce the commodities. Like, you know, I've known of several people that have bought corn, potatoes, etc., the actual farms, and they got involved in alternative energy, etc., etc. So I'm not sure what you had in mind, but as an individual commodity trader, you'll play hell finding somebody that'll buy commodity, no matter how successful you are, because it's going to be dependent just on you. Right. You're making it more difficult than you need to be. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for calling. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Guys, we're going to, not because I'm recuperating from surgery, but I would highly recommend you use our chat room, and I hope that you use it, talking to one another, and until the next time, peace.
Dan Pena.
Because when I fucking tell you I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. I'm either in a coma or fucking dead.
Finally responds.
I want you to release the fucking beast and not be politically correct.
To everyone's bullshit.
There's no such thing as work-life balance. None!
Watch the latest episodes of Dan, the $50 billion man, responds to bullshit. Visit www.danpena.com/Dan-responds-to-bullshit. Are you ready to become a lean, mean fighting machine? Download free QLA ringtones now. Visit www.danpena.com/ringtone. Want to have a one-on-one session with the $50 billion man himself? Discuss your action plan, your dream team, and learn what you need to do. Get a chance to leap ahead your goals and win a private session with the $50 billion man by simply taking a survey. Visit www.danpena.com/survey now. Need a constant reminder to move your lazy ass? Download free QLA mobile wallpapers. Visit www.danpena.com/wallpaper. What are you waiting for? Just fucking do it. You have been listening to the live, uncut, raw, unfiltered Ask the $50 Billion Man. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for free content and updates on the next episode of Live, Uncut, Raw, Unfiltered Ask the $50 Billion Man. To learn more about the best high-performance coach, Dan Pena, visit www.danpena.com and access all the free QLA materials of the $50 Billion Man. To your QLA and biz.